Alright guys, update number 18 on the 37 Rat Rod Chop Top. So, I got it to Wednesday. I don't know how much we'll get done today, but kids work for me so I can actually work on the car today. We left off, the front end's not completely welded out, so we got to get the front end all tied up. So pretty much this whole update's going to be tying up the front end and whatnot. Now, I can't move the car very well because getting air in the front bags, without the air system hooked up, it's real pain. So what I've got is this. So what it is just a 1/2-inch ball valve and a fitting to screw into the bag so I can put air in, shut it off. Same thing I did on the rear so I can keep the car up. Went down to Depot this morning and a 1/2-inch ball valve is like $9. And then you got other fittings you got to take and get just to get it to work, you know what I mean? So brass parts of course are expensive. But if you take a little bit of time and you look around, you can find other options. So this one here, this ball valve, was over with the air compressors. It's a shut off for something for an air compressor. Turns out it's 1/2-inch. It's got the fittings I need on it. It's $6. So take a look around. Sometimes you can find something other than where it's supposed to be. And then of course I had to put a reducer on it to get it up there. So it came out way cheaper than buying all the other parts I needed. So happy about that. So I'm gonna put these in, we can air the car up, move it forward some because I've noticed when it's sitting here like this, concrete's not level. So my frame's not sitting exactly flat. So I'm gonna move it forward, try to get it sit down, that way when I do all the welds, it's gonna be square. So anyway, that's what I'm working on now. I did pick up the right bolts for the front end this morning also, so I'm gonna go ahead and be swapping those out to the proper bolts and cleaning up some of the work we did on the last update. So that's what we're working on today. See how far we get. Mainly get this thing all welded together and see what we get together. All right. Alright, so here's something I've been working on trying to figure out is I need to add like a pan hart bar to this. The reason is when this thing's up, it can move side to side. So I want to create one that goes, of course, from the upper beam here down. Now the problem is my grill comes in right here. Okay, so a lot of things are blocked. So what I'm thinking is coming from the underside of here, these bolts, that's why there's nothing on them. Maybe coming down, straight across and up, kind of like an angle here. And that way, when it lowers down, the bar will just drop down here. You'll never see it. But the issue is I need it as long as possible so that when it arcs and turns, when the car comes down like this, it doesn't shift left or right because the pan hart bar is pushing it. And because of the arc, when it's up it'll be here, when it comes down it'll be here, so that difference, it'll want to shove. So I need, the longer you make it, the less it'll shift. So I think I'm gonna go here and then come off of this mount here out, and so that's the longest I can possibly make it without going way out. And it should be, we'll see how much it works on the throw after we got it mocked up, and then we'll move the suspension up and down and see what it does. Welcome to my map, doesn't bring your problems to me. That's a minimum band, and I will save your soul. Nothing can ever be free. Well, so you see,
hours a day. Join us on the battleground. Sing loud through the brothers shall stay straight until it's too late. Now you are full of hate, full of hate. I'm ready.
Alright, so look, we got the bottom one made, bolted in, everything. So as you can see, she'll come all the way up flat and drop down. So I just went off the perches there. So that should be fine. Now what I gotta do is make it come out 3 inches past the bag and have the stud for the other heim, and then we'll bend our bar whatever design I want, and then we can test it and see how much it moves. So working on this mount.
24 hours a day. Join us on the battleground. Sing loud to the brothers shall stay straight until it's too late. Now you are full of hate, full of hate. Don't trust the war antagonist power that you must resist. Lies up from the radio 24 hours a day. Join us on the battleground. Sing loud to the brothers shall stay straight until it's too late. Now you are full of hate, full of hate.
Alright, so panhard bar's in. It's not welded out, it's just tacked. So we want to see how it reacts. It kind of swings here. I need to maybe tighten it up a little bit. But I can do that. So let's try to see what happens when I air it up and then I air it down. See if the body shifts too much. Grab the tape. Hope you freaking find one. Alright, so let's see. Tire. About 53.5. So screw, we'll just do it from one side. Alright. So edge of it is 18 3/4 right here. Push these bags over pretty bad. Move the inch over. So try to figure out a better way to do this then. Let's see if it stops the bumps. I can feel the plate in it here. It's actually pretty good. think blowing it out, it should be a little different. I hate that the bags lean over when I do it, but I don't know. Let me think about it for a minute and see if I can come up with something. Alright guys, I finally figured it out. It's been about 4 hours. I built 5 different systems and finally I got one I like. I tried building wishbones and triangulated pieces, almost like a 4-link. Didn't like any of them. So I ended up coming up with just a pan heart. But what I figured out is if your 2 spots where your heims are level at mid travel, okay, so when it goes, then you set your pan heart bar to length of at ride height, so it's all the way up, okay. So then it'll come down the level, but then it arcs back at the lowest point, so it's right twice, all the way up and all the way down. As it flows to the middle, it's got about, it moves out about 3/4 of an inch. That's about it. So I can deal with that. That's fine. That's not enough really to give me that much bump steer or anything. So I'm gonna show you guys it right now. I'll air it up. Okay, so I've built this piece for as a drop down. Okay, so you got the drop down here to the mount I made earlier. Okay, I bent the bar because it's actually at down, it will drop lower than this. So that's what I did. Okay, so now when you watch it travel, I'll try to stay still. It's down. I don't know if you can see my 2 center marks. They're all lined up. So it looks good to me. All right. It's all tightened up. Move on to the next thing. Alright guys, well I got the grill mounted up. I just put a flat plate across. Used the original mount, cut it, raised it up. It's in. I put the grill on with the ass up on the car, so the lowest it would possibly be when I bag it up, and then the front up, because I can't do the rear down first because the body hangs out too far, I'll hit the body. So I had to make sure that I could always, you know, up with the rear, up with the front, down with the front, down with the rear. So when it's in a full angle, I get my fingers under it. And when it lays down, I have my normal 3/4 inch gap. So it's all set. It's actually pretty sturdy, but I'm gonna add some more bracing down there. But before I set the radiator and work on that, I've got some of this heavy wall tubing, 120 wall roll cage stuff that I had left over. I'm gonna triangulate that front end down there with that big plate just to strengthen it. So there's no, I don't want any flex. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Throughout the rest of the build, I'm going to be plating and reinforcing and gusseting the frame. I've seen this motor twist the frame before, so I've got to brace it out. So I'm going to be doing that. I'm going to knock these out, and then we can mock up the radiator.
You don't take a chance and you will pay. Black rats have no shame. Black rats have no mercy. Black night, black city.
I had to take a little break and go outside. Ghetto birds flying around, the cops are everywhere. Some dudes jump from backyard to backyard, I guess, running from them. So I went and stood the dark in mine waiting for him. Didn't come my way. I was looking to clothesline somebody. I mean, shit, the one time I can legally hurt somebody and be fine. Nah. He's on the roof of the neighbor's house, hiding from him. The chopper's fucking talking him down. It's great. Anyway, back to this. See if I get the radiator in. Alright guys, that's it for update number 18. We got the front suspension completely done, welded out, good to go. So that Panhard really kicked my ass today, but I got it done. It's in, travel looks good. Got the hood mounted, and I cleaned it up a little bit. Radiator fits no problem, got to build mounts. It's late, I'm not going to build them tonight. Plasma cutter tips are supposed to be here Friday. That means this weekend I'll have it, so I can actually do this a lot quicker. I don't know if you noticed, there's a big gap between the radiator and the motor. It's not too big, it's like 10 inches. There's a reason for it. I'm looking at maybe doing an X-up exhaust where it comes forward, crosses, and then goes out. Not exactly sure. I'll figure it out. But anyway, next time we'll be mounting the radiator, figuring all that stuff out, and try to tie this front end and be done. Start on the back, fuel cell, air tanks, all that type of stuff. All right, guys. Well, do me a favor, like, subscribe. I appreciate it. If you like, comment, you got questions, whatever, go right ahead. All right, guys. Have a good night. Anyway, guys,